It's been a long time for all of us, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
And good news, the channel has finally reached 100 subscribers.
Thank you, Everypony. We are so appreciative of what you've done. And again, we're back,
Yeah, after over a month.
Yeah, it's been a while. So.
We are back. Sorry we haven't made a video in at least a month, but I've been so freaking busy with college.
And I've been busy looking for work as well.
Yes, I am trying to find a job too. I was going to get a job at Turkey Hill, but he told me don't, because the people who work there are real jerks.
Alright, but anyway, we're going to do this reaction today. What's it called?
Trix Tix.
Trix Tix, okay.
But it may say the whole darn thing up on the tab, but that's the name of the chapter.
Oh, okay.
It's just a one chapter story.
And yeah, before we start the video, I guess I'm just going to sit here and say this. I'm going to congratulate Barack Obama on his re-election. Yeah, he's happy.
Yeah, I am a Democratic supporter, yes.
Well, it could be let me just say it right now. Don't hate on me, but I did support Romney in this election.
He did.
I am a proud Republican. It's not the fact that I'm Republican. It's just the fact that I believed in a lot of the things he said. Obama beat him fair and square, so congratulations to him. I just hope he does better in this term. That's all.
Yeah. Yes. And I am a Democratic supporter. It even says so on my license to vote. I am a Democratic supporter.
Well, you can still vote Republican if you're a Democrat. I can still vote Democratic if I am a Republican, but I can vote Democrat if I want.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway.
I will admit, even though I am a Democratic supporter, there were a few times in some elections where I did vote for a Republican.
All right, let's get the fanfiction going. Enough about politics.
Yeah,
politics suck.
Yeah, we don't want to bore any of you, so let's get on with this. And Trix Tix, it's a second person fanfic with you as your own OC and Trixie. And before you say anything, this guy's definitely me.
No, he's me.
No, he's me, because it's a clopfic about yourself and Trixie, so he's me.
Well, he's black. Actually, he can be both of us in our own minds.
Whatever. Let's get on with this.
Yeah.
Assistant, Trixie demands your presence now. There she goes again. You groaned slightly as you set down the newspaper. That mare could be such a slave driver sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
But hey, at the end of the day, it was worth it. She provided you food, a place to stay, and a good pay. Not to mention the free passes to all of her shows. Even if you knew how all of her tricks worked and whatnot, it was still fun to watch the crowd cheer for her. It was something she lived for, and she sure as heck received it. It hadn't always been so easy for her, though. After a fallout in Ponyville, the mare who shall not be named, as Trixie puts it, Twilight Sparkle! She had spent quite a bit of time trying to get her act back together. She had saved up some bits and stowed it away for a rainy day fund, and saved it for just an occasion, as her previous trailer had been crushed by a bear of monolithic proportions. Ursa Minor. Alright. Even then, she needed a bit of help getting back to her hooves. Sorry for coughing so much, my throat's been a bit scratchy for the last few days. After having run into her at a pub on the outskirts of Hoopington, the two of you struck up a deal. You would assist her with her transportation and setting up shows, along with aiding her during her shows as she needed. Bringing out props, playing dummy for her saw and a pony half-act,
oh dear,
and so on. In return, she provided you a spare room in her trailer, along with rations and payment. Okay.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yes. I am going to scroll down a bit. Okay, there we go. It took you some time to get used to her somewhat arrogant nature. At first, she really treated you as nothing more than a workhorse to do chores. It's all she saw you as, really. After some time, however, she had finally warmed up to you and opened up a bit more. Even after all the impressions you had on her before, she wasn't all that bad. She could be genuinely funny when she wanted to, and was a bit more willing to give you credit for your work after a while. It sort of surprised you that a mare in showbiz like her could actually have a heart. For real, bro? You have the nerve to say something like that. Everyone has a heart deep within them.
Some people don't.
That's true. Like Discord.
Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
Alright, but anyway.
Assistant? Well, when it mattered anyway. Standing up, you stretch your legs slightly, making your way through the trailer. You walk right up to Trixie's room. You knock on the door a couple times. Come in, she calls out, sounding slightly annoyed.
Oh dear.
You open the door and take in the sight. Trixie's room was rather simplistic, actually. On the wall to the right was a small bed, which sported a dark blue blanket. To the left was her desk, which had calendars and papers of all kinds scattered around it. No doubt it was her plans for future gigs and whatnot. On the opposite wall was her wardrobe, which contained her iconic hat and cape. Next to it was a large chest which contained some of the props and other devices used during her shows. On the floor were some chains and locks. She often used these kinds of things during her magic acts, so it came as no surprise to see her practicing with them often.
Oh man, I think I have a bad feeling those chains and locks might come in play later.
Well,
if you know what I mean.
In the center of the room, the Mary you had grown to know over the years, the great and powerful Trixie, as she calls herself. She was facing away from you, her eyes scanning over the small notebook she held in her hooves. Not sporting her usual garb, her sleek blue coat was in full view. After a moment of reading, she turned her head to face you. You know, you don't need to knock. If Trixie did not want you here, she wouldn't have called you. She says, keeping her usual habit of third-person speech. Now that took some getting used to. Oh, well, pardon me for being courteous, you reply jokingly. She rolls her eyes dramatically. Well, in any case, her horn lights up and she levitates the book over to her desk. Trixie is in need of your help. As you always are, you say under your breath.
Lols.
Care to repeat that? She replies curtly. Nothing, you wave a hoof nonchalantly before she gets any more agitated. You continue. So what you need? She snorts slightly. Well, Trixie has a new trick she's been perfecting as of late. She begins to walk over to the chest in the corner of the room. However, Trixie needs some help. I think I know where this is going. And not gonna lie, I kinda like it.
Oh god.
And that's why why is that? You never needed my help to You never needed my help with this sort of thing, you reply. Are you losing your edge? You say teasingly. She rolls her eyes. Ha ha! But no, Trixie will explain. She lifts open the lid and begins to root around inside. From where you're standing, you can spot a few familiar props. Namely, the saw she uses to cut you in half. You still shudder from that one mishap you had during practice. Oh god. Must have accidentally cut him.
Maybe.
After a few moments, she lifts out a golden object, only after you take a quick double take to figure out what it is. In her hoof, she holds a large key-shaped device, similar to those found on the backs of wind-up toys. Unlike those toys, this one was huge. It looked almost large enough to fit a pony.
Oh no.
She turns to face you. Trixie's newest act is one of desperation, excitement, invigoration. Get to the point, you say bluntly, cutting her off. You had heard this more than enough times. She huffs loudly. Trixie always thought you were a fan of her theatrics. Very well, then. Her horn glows once again, and the device floats into the air. For the newest trick, Trixie needs this to arm herself.
Arm herself?
What are you getting at? You ask cautiously. Simple. To punctuate the statement, the object floats behind her and plants its thin edge between her shoulders. Once Trixie cranks the device, she will be armed.
What?
Alrighty. When we armed, you wish you would stop dodging the question. Seriously, what do you mean by that? Trixie is going to become. She shuts her eyes and throws herself up onto her hind legs. A living bomb.
Do what?
You what now?
She's gonna become a bomb. How is that gonna work?
No one speaks for a moment. She waits for you to applaud, scream, or cheer for the newest and clearly her most brilliant plan ever. Yeah, you were just waiting for her to get to the punchline. When no sappy joke came, you spoke, bomb? What? Thank you, that's my same reaction. She opens her eyes and brings herself down again. Ugh, seriously now. A bomb, you know, tick, tick, boom?
Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, I know what a bomb is, thank you, you reply curtly, but what exactly do you mean by that? Like, how does this have anything to do with the new trick? It's quite simple, really. She sits on her haunches. Trixie uses this device to arm herself. When she does, she will only have a short period to get... She'll only have a short period of time to get the antidote. Alright. Antidote, you ask? Yes, antidote. Did Trixie stutter? Jesus. You roll your eyes and shake your head. Good. Once she is armed, Trixie will have only a short period of time to undo a series of locks and reach a potion within a box. If she succeeds, the countdown is stopped. And if she fails, you ask? Oh, as if Trixie could fail.
Sorry about that. Don't worry about it.
Okay. As if Trixie could fail, but in that instance, Trixie is prevented from completing the task. Let's say that she will be hotter than ever, she replies coolly.
Oh boy. She's gonna kill herself.
Wait, you mean this could legitimately kill you? You yell. Was that mare out of her mind? Pfft, of course not, she replies, waving a hoof. The great and powerful Trixie would not let such a thing befall her. It's merely an illusion.
Oh.
Shouldn't you be well aware of how illusions work by now? You simply stare at her for a moment before face-hoofing. Really now? Okay, so how do you turn yourself into a bomb? Do some tricks to get to a potion and make yourself not be a bomb. What exactly do you need me to help you do?
I've seen something like that at a magic show once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't really like a crank or anything, but what he did was, I could see it under his shirt. He had these like little things. They're just like smoke bomb things. So if he fucks up, they go poof, and he's like, I blew up.
Well, she begins to look a bit distraught. Trixie needs some sort of spark.
Yeah.
Come again? Trixie needs an ignition, if you will. This trick, it can only work with some sort of start. Trixie cannot just begin the countdown willy-nilly. She has to have something that forces the countdown to begin. She turns her head so her eyes are no longer meeting yours. Trixie was able to begin the timer before. Her desire to perform the trick was enough to be the ignition.
Okay.
Maybe determination?
Something like that.
So why don't you just use that again? You ask. She looks at you again. Do you think Trixie hasn't tried? She just isn't as eager to perform the trick anymore. That sucks. You not wanting to do a trick? When does that ever happen? You ask again. When Trixie is forced to perform a failure, that's why. You give her a puzzled look, prodding her to continue. The owners of the venue we shall be performing at next are afraid. When Trixie pitched the idea to them, they were scared of the failed performance. They were scared of what a failed performance could entail. She turned away in anger. They even doubt Trixie, even when she assured them that all was safe. They would have none of it, and they knew a failed performance wouldn't cause any real damage. Real damage. Seeing her get a bit fumed up, you know you had to step in. You've seen her when she has a little bit of temper tantrums, and it's not pretty. Okay. All we gotta do is start the timer and wait it out. No biggie. Well, not exactly. She turns to you. It takes a little more than just waiting it out. The timer actually has to reflect how Trixie is feeling at the moment. The more excited she gets, the closer she gets to, kaboom.
Yeah.
You really have no idea what to think at this point. So, how exactly do we go about doing this? Well, first off, we won't get anywhere without doing this. Her horn begins to glow again and the device on her back illuminates. You watch as it begins to spin, accompanying the movement that's not unlike whirring gears. You can't help but ask, so is that really necessary? Truthfully, no, but it gives the audience something to believe, does it not? You shrug. Fair enough.
I win.
After a few spins, she lifts the device off her back and sets it to the ground. Now, we have to stimulate it. Okay, so how do we go about doing that, you ask? Trixie's first plan. Make her angry, she states. Just make you mad? That's it, you reply.
Judge is here.
Oh, okay, let him in.
Just let him in.
Okay.
He's taking his shoes off, and then I guess he'll be in.
Cool, Bombs is here.
Yeah. I will... Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Yes, perhaps you can start the countdown by getting her angry enough. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, Bombs is here.
Oh, well, this'll be easy, you say. She gives you a sharp look. And why's that? Hello, you do have a pretty bad temper. Trixie does not.
Yep. You're fucked, bro.
You kidding? You get pissed off over the smallest things. Remember when I got a little wrinkle in your cape the other day? You know very well not to touch Trixie's cape.
Oh my god.
Still, that doesn't mean you have a short temper. She does not! She stamps her hoof loudly. Yeah, whatever you say.
She's angerful now.
Seems like you're pretty mad right now. She simply stares daggers into your eyes for a few moments. After a short period, she lowers her head and sighs. Sitting on her haunches, she speaks.
He's trolling her.
Yeah, sitting on her haunches, she speaks. It's not working. What? How do you know, you ask? Trixie can just feel when it begins.
Super bombs. Holy shit, what's up with that shirt?
Oh, Venom.
Oh, Venom.
Yeah, Venom from Spider-Man.
Sorry, you caught us in the middle of doing a bit.
Yeah. Trixie can just feel it when it begins, and this isn't making it start. Hang on a minute. Hey, Bombs, we are on camera. You want to say hi? Lean down a bit.
No.
And by the way, JTH has reached 100 subscribers now.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Bombs is here.
His Wi-Fi is being a dick.
Anyways, here we go again. Trixie can just feel what happens and this isn't making it start. Okay, so making her angry isn't working.
You're gonna have to kiss her.
Well, is there anything else we can do to kickstart it? She looks around the room for a bit, possibly searching for a way to stimulate the timer. When nothing seems to catch her interest, she looks at you again. She opens her mouth to speak, but stops. Her eyes go wide and she gasps slightly. She clamps a hoop over her mouth and you spot a slight blush on her cheeks. What the heck is up with her? You've never seen her do something like that.
Yeah!
Trixie? Her eyes dart around a bit, but she finally sets them on your eyes. Well, Trixie, did think of something that could work. And what would that be? You ask, leaning in slightly. Just remember, this means nothing between us, she states. You're about to respond when she beats you to it. This is merely for testing purposes. Got it? And there goes your phone again. Okay. So what is it? You ask skeptically. She looks into your eyes and stands up, sighing lightly. She takes a moment to seal her nerves. Whatever she was planning looked incredibly tough for her to do. Taking a few deep breaths, she takes a few cautious steps toward you. You lean your head back slightly. What was she doing? She's getting awfully close.
Kissy, kissy, kissy.
Her face is just... There you go again. Her face is just about to touch yours. You begin to back up, but only to find your path stopped by the door. Looking back, you realize you never shut that. Did she just... Turning forward again, you find her exceptionally close to you, a powerful blush on her cheeks. You feel your heart racing as the mirror closes the distance bit by bit. Until finally, your lips meet. It was a very gentle touch, but just a passing graze of the flesh. Your eyes are as wide as saucers as she lingers for a moment, enjoying the contact or loathing in it. With her, it's impossible to tell. Your body is completely frozen as the kiss lingers. After a short period, she backs away. She stares into your eyes with her own. Her face held a strange mixture of emotions ranging from lust to disdain. Trixie thinks that this may work. Would you care to help her test? She wasn't forcing you into this. She was genuinely asking if you wanted to help. Was that her way of asking if you were uncomfortable? Sure, you would definitely not expected that, but it would be a lie to say you didn't enjoy it. Besides, it was a mutual service. You were helping her, and she hadn't made you feel rather pleasant. Though no one had asked you, you always did think that Trixie was a rather good-looking mare. Yep. This guy's definitely me. And here she was, the same mare offering herself to you. What are you waiting for? Let's test that theory, you respond simply. She puts on a small smile and waits. Doing your duty, you lean in and kiss her again. This time it was much more passionate as both parties were pushing into it. What?
Drive-through pharmacy.
Your lips meet a bit more forcefully, and you are no longer holding back. Her soft, tender lips pressed against yours eagerly, and her tongue swirled around in your mouth a bit, edging you closer to her mouth. Not waiting on her, you open your mouth and drag your tongue over her lips. eliciting a small moan from the mare, taking it as an invitation. She presses her tongue against yours, pushing hers into your mouth. She lavishes the presence of your mouth, taking a rather thorough feel of the cavern.
Okay, pause, but you have to see this. Pause the video. Look at what to spell out.
Nice.
I will show this to the camera. Look at what that spells out.
Chuck Norris.
Alright, you can continue reading.
Okay. Chuck Norris, yay.
I'm saving that picture too.
After a moment, the two of you break the kiss and take a much-needed breath. Not wasting any time, the two of you go right back into it. Cautiously, you raise the hoof and stroke her neck, resulting in a small squeak from her. You worry that might be a bit too much at first, but you quickly dispel the worry as she raises her hooves around the back of your head, pulling you closer. With a bit more confidence, you raise the hoof and stroke her mane, eliciting a sigh from her. With no idea if this is even working, you continue your assault. Then the two of you pull back and prepare to go right back to it. Beep! Your eyes shoot open and meet hers. She looks up to her horn after a short pause. That sound occurs again. Beep! Her horn flashes green and makes an audible sound. With a confused look on your face, you look back down at her features to find her smiling widely. "It's working!" she exclaims. "We must keep going." "Well, alright." You are cut off as she presses her lips against yours again. Not that you mind, of course.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Now it's starting to get steamy. Lifting both hooves, she begins to run them down the length of her back, bringing small sighs and moans from her. She begins to run her hooves through your hair, and you shiver under her touch. You can feel her relaxing more and more in your embrace as she really gets into it. The kiss becomes more and more intimate as she explores your mouth with more vigor by the moment. Wow. She pulls away for a brief moment. "Trixie must admit," she says between breaths, "you're rather good at this."
Oh boy.
She punctuates her statement with another kiss. You pull away this time, taking note of her still beeping horn. "You must be right if that thing says anything," you joke, pointing to her appendage. She huffs slightly. "Just shut up and keep going." Chuckling slightly, you give in as she pulls you right back to her lips, greedily kissing you. Her barrage slowly quickens its pace, planting kiss after kiss upon your lips faster and faster. Each time she makes sure to indulge in your flavor. You follow her example, tasting your tongue against her... I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm a fucking idiot.
No, you're not.
As you kiss, the beeping continues. After a bit, it begins to keep a steady level at roughly at one beep every 3 seconds. She breaks off the latest kiss abruptly. This isn't enough."
Oh boy.
You look into her eyes. Any ideas?
And then the sex happens.
Well, she looks off to the side. Trixie does have one thing in mind. You open your mouth to... What?
You gonna get it in?
You open your mouth to respond, only to let out a loud yelp as you're suddenly enveloped by a blue aura. You feel yourself being lifted to the air and flung away. Landing on something solid which squeaked lightly as you added weight. You regain your senses to find yourself on a bed. Her bed, to be exact. Here we go. Oh man. Here we go. You look... Yay, Ryuk. You look over to her direction, only to find herself jumping up and over you. She plants herself right above, a very suggestive look in her eyes. Of course, you weren't complaining. Show that to Bombs.
I did.
Oh. What'd you think of that, Ryuk?
It's like,
Ryuk in the store. It's funny.
Tumblr is fun.
Of course you weren't complaining. She quickly closes the distance and starts peppering your face with kisses. She kisses you wildly with no aim or direction. You happily oblige and met her every step of the way, kissing back with just as much gusto. You lift your hooves and begin to run them down her back, gently massaging her sides. She plants her hooves on your cheeks, keeping you aligned with her lips as much as possible. She begins to lower her body, and soon it reaches yours. Your fur intermingles with her as your heat is shared, bringing forth a new sort of pleasure. New sort of pleasure. She subconsciously rubs against you, her body almost grinding against yours. You can feel her growing warmer by the second. You decide to get a little more adventurous. You bring her hooves a bit lower on her body. With your hooves over her flanks, you begin to gently massage her cutie marks.
Okay.
This brings a rather loud moan from the mirror, and her body begins to sift a little more. She pulls her head back, giving you a playful glare. Trixie doesn't recall giving you permission to touch her great and powerful flank.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. You smile cockily in return. Well, at least we know one part of that statement is true. She huffs slightly. She never would have taken her assistant to be such a hound dog.
Oh, crap.
And you're saying that's a bad thing? Because your horn says otherwise. Beep beep.
Lols.
She looks up to her horn to find it flashing at a slightly faster rate. Rather than the green it was flashing moments ago, it was flashing a bright yellow instead. You figure you had just hit some new stage in the countdown or something. She suddenly looks off to the side. Her cheeks are flushed a tiny bit, and a bit of sweat is present on her face. Turning back, you give her a very lusty look, and she grins mischievously. We're going to have to go deeper. You open your mouth to question, but you are cut off as she suddenly thrusts a hoof downward. You yelp slightly as her hoof comes into contact with a very specific area of your body. You let out an involuntary moan as she begins to massage your member, grasping it firmly. Within seconds, you can feel your shaft growing solid. You squeeze your eyes shut in pleasure as her hoof gently caresses your member, pressing and squeezing it in all the right ways. The mirror over you... How was that fucked up?
The picture I'm looking at.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this.
The picture is fucked up.
Oh, okay. The mirror over you coos slightly at your member. Trixie never expected you to be tucking away all of this. Is that supposed to be an insult? You manage. My, prickly today, aren't we? She never lets up her mischievous gaze. I never took you for such a tease, Trix. Hence the name of the story, Trix Tix.
Yeah.
I guess the Tix ties into the countdown. A tease? She huffs dramatically. A tease wouldn't take you this far and finish you, would she?
Oh dear.
Once you were hard as diamonds, you finally managed to open your eyes. Yours meet with hers as she stares at you, her tongue hanging out playfully. After a while, her horn was flashing yellow and beeping rapidly. I said beating, I fucked up.
Happens.
Beeping rapidly, there we go. Ready, she says, smiling seductively. You simply nod in response, unable to bring yourself to words. With that, she leans in and kisses you again. You can feel her lowering herself onto you slowly. Within seconds, you can feel your head gently pressing against her sex.
Yeah.
Her entry was already soaked in her fluids, and she teasingly rubbed it against you for a moment, getting you hyped for the moment. She moans softly into your mouth as she moves, her breath shuddering slightly. Shuddering slightly, no longer able to stand it, she delicately pushes herself down a bit more, engulfing your head inside of her. She squeaks slightly as her folds begin to part, but she doesn't stop. She pushes bit by bit, slowly taking more and more of you inside of her. Her walls gently squeeze around your members, sending waves of pleasure up and down your spine. She was fairly tight, but not to the point of being uncomfortable. Before you know it, she's taken the full extent of your shaft. Wow. You find that funny? She's breathing heavily and her cheeks are incredibly flushed. She looks down at you before giving you another cocky smile. Oh my. Trixie never thought you would be so perfect, really, she whispers. Just give her a moment. No trouble. I could stay like this all day, you say half-jokingly. She gives you another serious look. Perhaps we'll have to test that theory later.
Oh.
So I take it this is more for testing purposes then? She casts her gaze to the wall, her cheeks flushing a bit more. Trixie won't lie. She may have thought about it. Once or twice.
Yak.
Seriously, where did that come from?
It was a commercial that aired during the episode yesterday.
Oh, really?
And it was so stupid, but now it's like going all over Tumblr, all over YouTube, Twitter. Every brony is Gak. Gak is back. What the fuck is Gak?
I think it's some sort of goo or something.
Yeah, just keep reading the damn thing.
You chuckle slightly. Yeah, just once or twice. Right. Shut up! She manages. You're no longer wanting to come up with snappy remarks. Okay, ready? With that, she begins to move. She slowly lifts herself up, pulling you out. Just as she reaches the apex of your member, she begins to lower herself once again. A bit faster than the initial entry. The sensation of her walls hugging you was driving you wild.
Yeah.
The feeling was like no other, and she was perfect for a fit such as you, and you for her. Okay. You moan slightly as she lifts herself again, only to press herself down once more. With each thrust, she moves a bit faster, slowly gaining more momentum. After a while, her horn was flashing and beeping more and more frequently, slowly building up to the inevitable boom. Your member is absolutely coated in her fluids, adding on to the incredible pleasure that you were feeling. Her sex was grasping and squeezing your shaft tightly, massaging and pulling it within her, begging for more. You lift your hooves to her flanks to assist in doing just that. You begin to pull and push her more forcefully, adding to the already intense pleasure you two are feeling. She doesn't object to the added force, of course, and only begins to moan even louder as a result. You're so... I can't... She squeaks, losing herself in the moment. Wow, she's really getting into this.
No kidding.
You can't fight it in your thoughts to spew out any words. You begin to consciously buck your hips upward. Within seconds, the two of you find a rhythm. As she lowers, you raise, and vice versa. With each moment, you can feel the pressure within your loins growing. She moans louder and louder as time goes, swiftly approaching her end. Trixie, I'm getting close, you manage. No, not yet. I'm not there yet. Well, I can't hold on forever, you yell, feeling your peak fast approaching. Then switch with me, she responds, pressing herself close to you. In a moment of uncontrollable drive, you grab her body and roll her over, with you now looming over her. You begin to He's going to start pounding her.
Nice.
With you now looming over her, you begin to swiftly press yourself deep inside of her. She doesn't seem to mind, and her moaning increases tenfold. She plants her hooves on your head and brings you closer, caressing you tightly. Not one to disappoint, you kick it up another notch and press into her even harder. In correspondence, her moans grow even louder, almost to the point of being screams. She yells your name repeatedly, begging for more. Beep, 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 beep.
Tails, give me more.
Her horn was going absolutely nuts at this point. It was flashing a vivid red now and was beeping rapidly. It was only a matter of time.
Yep.
You repeatedly slam into her, a definitive noise being produced in the process. You were coated in her juices, and it soon showed as she began to leak onto her own bed. She wraps her hind legs around your waist, pulling you in even closer. Her moans only continue to escalate.
How many chapters is this story?
This is just a one-chapter thing.
Oh, okay.
You feel the pressure in your nether regions growing at a rapid rate. It wouldn't be long before the dams burst. Nice comparison there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Unable to control yourself, you kick it into maximum overdrive.
Oh boy.
Pounding against her at a rapid rate, her sex continuously pulled and squeezed you, driving your member mad. Yes, don't stop, she yells, barely capable of forming words at this point. You breathe rapidly, close to reaching your wit's end. She was just as lost as you were, nearly at the apex of her pleasure. The pauses between the beeps was nearly non-existent, and she was convulsing more and more heavily by the second. What? Did he show you something?
Yeah.
The pauses between the beeps was nearly non-existent, more heavily by the second. Her moans and beeps were the only thing that filled your ears, and you could no longer sense the outside world. The only thing that mattered was what you were doing for her. The pressure was nearing its peak. You were so close, and judging from her horn, so was she. After only a few seconds, the beeping was replaced by a constant high-pitched hum, and her horn was glowing a solid red. Trixie, I can't... I'm gone! With one last thrust.
You're such a nerd! You're such a weirdo, dude.
That was too perfect! Kaboom!
Such a fucking weirdo.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
It even says it on the
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I think that's why he did it.
Exactly, because I will admit I skewed through this really fast. I didn't read any of it. This part stuck out because it was in all capital letters.
Well, let me just say this: the champ is here.
Yes, he is the champion of perfect timing.
The champ is here.
The champ of perfect timing.
All right, go ahead.
Your vision is filled with nothing but white. You were blinded by whatever had just happened. You thought for a moment you saw fire, but you were too lost to recognize anything. The very definitive sound of an explosion was there, but you lost track of anything else. Slowly your vision returns. You heave breaths, overwhelmed by the sensation that just occurred. Sorry, I had something stuck in my teeth. That just occurred. You had absolutely lost yourself in pleasure, and from the looks of things, so had she. She was breathing just as hard as you were. Your eyes were lightly coated in sweat, and you can feel that your face was just as flushed as hers was. Finally finding your strength, you lift your head. You look around the room to find that the explosion had disturbed absolutely nothing. It was really nothing more than an illusion. You turned your gaze back to her, only to find her staring into space. That was, she says between breaths. Informational, you joke. She looks up to you, too tired to make her "Are you serious?" look. Yes, very informing. You chuckle slightly. So, and I'm gonna say this in the heavy voice. What happens now?
What happens now? I do Russian accent better than you can.
Yes, you do. So say it again. You chuckle slightly. So
what happens now?
Thank you.
Document.
Her gaze meets yours, and she suddenly develops that familiar smile. She gives you a rather sloppy kiss before pressing her hooves against your chest, rolling you over until she's on top.
Ah!
Her horn glows its usual blue aura, and from the corner of her eye you see the wind-up device levitating towards her. It plants itself between her shoulders, and she begins winding. Trixie never lets her audience go without an encore. The end.
Nice!
Oh, wow, that was a great story.
Yeah, not only does he get laid once, now he's gonna get twice. What the fuck?
Oh.
What you doing, comrade?
That guy is
lucky man.
That guy is definitely me.
No, he's me.
No, he's me.
I kill you like a Russian man.
Then why'd you say it like Ahmed?
I'm not saying it like Ahmed. I'm speaking in Russian accent, comrade. Anyway, Tailsthehero.
And JTH.
Bombs back there.
And thank you so much for getting us up to 100 subscribers.
We out.
We will see you soon.
We got SpaghettiOs to eat.
Yes, bye.